Pyup, pyup, pyup. Am I being roused from or lulled into a deep sleep by this sound? Pyup, pyup, pyup. My first encounter with time seems to be a moment on repeat. I feel a fall, I caress a spring green leaf, and I fall again. Pyup, pyup, pyup. Over and over with an ever-mounting anxiety of, who am I in all this? Am I the sound? Am I the leaf? Ground below? How I try to merge with anything more solid than whatever I am, and slowly time begins to accumulate, and the repeating moment draws out as I find myself in a pool of me. With each drop I experience the ecstasy of merging with myself, in love, until self and I are indistinguishable, and I or we lay quietly in this pool of us or me, and the pyup pyup sound begins to fade, and I see the leaf and sky, who seem to be the mother and father of my existence now, and I am merged in love with me. I become aware that I am a pool of water dependent on the shape of the ground around me, or the funnel of the leaf that guided me here. Do I love or resent these others that I am so dependent upon? And what I'm more afraid to ask, do they love or resent me? Will the ground slip out from under me the way the leaf had? And must the shape of my identity be so dictated by all that seems not to be me? With all my edges, I cling to and rebel against the ground that holds me until I can no longer. Now, questioning my own hypervigilance toward the world around me, I resolve myself into the sinking feeling deep below what I know myself to be. When I release my tension and slip through the void, I feel relief and excitement as I trickle down beyond the shallow pool of what I knew to be support, and I discover that I am everlasting. My fears released, I travel through the dark underground with confidence and agility. I begin to hear a faint pulsing. It's the sound of microbes and cells and root spindles, all expanding and contracting and stretching in search of me. I seem to be their source of hope, that they may someday grow beyond the dark underground into the light and air above, and my heart says yes to that responsibility. I will deliver their hope and growth and uprising. In sensing the potential of things, I become tireless in my efforts to shape-shift up through the soil and into the roots of change. Maybe I have found my purpose. Maybe I am the engine of growth and progress, and how good it feels to be important. Bending up through the bright green shafts, through the leaves and petals of many colors, towards the beckoning sunshine above, I move. Was that one exhale too far? Through the thinning leaf, I am released from my service and from the beauty of the flora that my life had become. What will become of me if I am no longer serving? What will become of the meadow that I inspired? Who am I beyond what I do? And as I rise and rise, I become aware of a force of nature beyond my own doing. I see below me a beautiful meadow, and I realize the meadow remains and reflects back to me the beauty of my heart. I can rest in my being, knowing the universe continues to unfold its divine creation as I become lighter and lighter. I am falling in love with this lightness of being. The effect of the sunlight is intoxicating. Oh, the freedom of floating is truly divine. How could I have spent so much time any other way? It is my new quest to follow the warmth and light of the sun. Any state of being less joyful surely indicates a mistake. I'm so grateful I now see the light, and grateful for the wisdom to avoid the shadow that is accumulating below me. Yet this shadow is becoming more difficult to avoid. When I stay in one place too long, I feel myself growing darker, and I see the shadow intensify. But no worries, I shall just keep moving and spread myself as thin as necessary to keep from billowing and darkening. The sun is my companion, and there is no use for such darkness. but I am running out of room and I feel heaviness start to set in as I begin to run into myself. Clap! Boom! My heart breaks with heaviness and I no longer tolerate so much frenetic energy. I succumb to the dark, relentless shadow that chases me as I weep and I fall into droplets determined for the shadow below. I am amazed to discover freedom once again. I realize now that in both rising and falling towards light and towards dark, true freedom is felt when I allow my determination to align with the plan beyond my own. Just as I release into the great plan, it demonstrates its creativity, and I begin to take shape. And that shape catches the air and slows my fall. Something cold and electric courses through me, and I reveal a moment of the invisible pattern of the universe in a crystalline print. How beautiful this six-pointed snow fractal of divinity is that I have captured so perfectly, and how delicate. I must hold this shape for as long as I can, for this secret of the universe must not be released back into the invisible mystery from which it came. I find a quiet mountaintop, away from all that may deplete my form. I can allow the solitude to relieve me of my fear of losing this wisdom incarnate that I hold so dear. I have been to many places now, and I know I could not have grasped this design in any place less serene than the refuge of this peak. As I sit and ponder and expand my curiosity beyond the edges of me, I begin to see this design that I hold goes well beyond my edges, that in everything there is a continuation and reflection of the wisdom that I hold, and this intelligent design that I have held tightly and considered so rare is omnipresent in all things. To truly be a part of this masterpiece is not to grab on to one separate fractal of it, but to participate in the ever-changing, ever-interacting design of it all. So I release my tiny fractal of knowledge and I melt back into the great omniscience. But how can I not second guess that melting? Why should something so delicate and perfect as a snowflake be forced to yield to more dominant forces? While I accept my changing nature, I refuse to exist in a world where the fragile cannot also exist. With that creed, I flex my watery, icy nature. I harden and expand against all that claims to be stronger than me. No more will I be ruled by air that whips me or earth that claims to be stronger. I will be both moving and solid, and I will carve out a place that demonstrates my right to be. I will push back against the weather and rocks that tell me no, and I will stand ready to receive the falling snowflakes that need my power and protection. Even mountains give way to my presence. Crick, crack. It is not the sound of the rock that breaks this time. It is me, softening as I realize what I've become. In the excitement and relief of discovering my own power, I did not notice the innocence of the other. I did not know that even the mountain is subject to the laws of change. I did not know that strong and fragile were only constructs of my own making, and that we all yield to the great truth of it all. I feel warmth in knowing that the earth and the air and the sun are my siblings, and we are all causing relentless change within each other. Whether we appear in tumult or harmony, whether I feel big or small, I may choose to harden or soften. To prefer cold and hard over soft and warm may, in fact, be denying me of one of my greatest powers to nurture and love. I can melt back into the truth that we are all one. As I melt, I become aware of the deep valley I created where there was once a mountain. My softening heart empathizes with the mountain and the hollowness I left behind. Let me nurture the valley with the love and help I know how to give. Let me grow the trees and the meadows that may call in the birds and the bears to give new meaning and purpose to the mountain, now valley. I can bring in waterfalls and rivers and fish and life to the ruins. If I offer enough, I can be sure our partnership will be renewed and secure. Yet, no matter what I offer, the land tilts and gravity pulls me away from my commitment. My devotion to the valley is competing with a greater will. Has the valley not forgiven me for my past life's tyranny? Does it not need me the way I'd worked so hard to be needed? Am I being pushed away, or am I being called forward? The salmon may be able to defy slope and gravity and current, but I am limited in what I can do. I humbly allow the greater will to take hold. I bring my awareness away from all that is beyond my limits and into the current within me that surrenders to the natural flow of the universe. The more of myself I collect, the more I have to offer. The deeper I go into the essence of my current, the more I connect with the ever-present current that directs all things. Through this divine will, I become something more than a river. Now my current is stronger than the river I came from, and my depths greater than any lakes I've passed through. My body holds a multitude of life and beauty that I have not seen the like, and in my unmatched state of depth and beauty I notice that I am lonely. And whether it is lonely or any other feeling I have, the depths of these feelings are greater than I have ever known. As my emotions ebb and flow, I crash against the shorelines of the land around me. How I long to match the stillness of the bright white moon above. I reach up towards that pearl goddess with all my might, only to collapse back down into myself, feeling forsaken again. I take solace in the dolphins that somehow remain light-hearted in the constant waves of me, and I watch how the great whales find sanctuary in my tides. And though I know I can never match the stillness of the moon, I can accept the nature of my being. I swell with self-acceptance and release my longing. Though my emotions remain deep and my tides are ever-changing, I find equanimity. I become aware again of the earth that holds me and the moon that adores me, and we dance together with the wind and the sun in all our cosmic beauty. As the ecstasy of this world reaches my depths, I pause with concern. Is it selfish of me to indulge in such glory? Do I have a moral obligation to remain aware and purposefully in tandem with the rest of the globe? Am I doing my part? Could my rhythmic undulations be offending the stony shores that do their best to hold me? Or perhaps I'm the righteous one, offering buoyancy and life to species that could not exist any other way. How could another body be so shallow? In the relativity of it all, what is the measure of goodness? And do I measure up? Are my waves rolling hills of divine, or the product of my sloppiness? The sunshine beckons me to relax my resentments. But what if he saw my dark underbelly? Would he still be sure that I am good enough to relax? Slowly, nervously, I settle my judgments, anxiously awaiting the harsh judgment of the sun who sees all. My waves continue to whip and roll and my depths remain dark, but the sun does not judge me, the sun only shines. I reflect that light and I relax a little more. Once again I begin to fall, or rise rather, in love with the sun, and I see the sun loves me. As I rise into loving union, we project into the heavens and earth a prism of color that assures me of my perfection. And now, as I rest suspended in Father Sky, in the knowing of the rightness of all that is, I am excited to return to that leaf I once called Mother, to sing of this divine perfection. Pyup, pyup.